This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you!
Boring. Boring. Boring.
You got it work. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
Remember what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Welcome one and all. Lembit Öpik here on Lembit Öpik Live on Unprecedented TV. Please do like and subscribe as we go from milestone to milestone here on Unprecedented. Big thank you to all of those who've been complimenting us for our coverage. And big thank you to Tim Scott, who came all the way to the studios yesterday, if you're watching this live, to discuss the increasing maelstrom, the storm surrounding the outgoing Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. I say outgoing, that's my opinion, because it seems to me fairly obvious that he's not going to be in that job very much longer. Why do I say that? Well, it's because, unlike Unprecedented, he's on his way out the door. And he's on his way out because of consistently bad judgment, primarily about people, but secondarily about policies. Let me set the scene. It seems to me that Keir Starmer has proved himself incompetent when it comes to his judgment about the people he surrounds himself with. Angela Rayner, who contradicted her own policies and had to resign. Andy Burnham, he personally vetoed Andy Burnham's right to stand in a by-election in Gorton and Denton, therefore reducing the likelihood of Labour winning. Vladimir Zelensky, a man in charge of a corrupt nation, and yet we spend billions there while increasing the tax burden by billions in the United Kingdom. The list goes on. And now the latest, Peter Mandelson, the person he appointed as the UK ambassador to the United States of America, arguably the most important ambassadorial position in the whole of government. And now that man has fallen, unsurprisingly, in my view, into ignominy, had to resign, his political career is over. But it's Keir Starmer who is in the spotlight. Why did Keir Starmer appoint this man to this senior position, even though Keir Starmer, by his own admission, knew about his close association with the convicted and now dead paedophile Jeffrey Epstein? If only Epstein didn't mysteriously die when all the cameras mysteriously all went off and he was mysteriously on suicide watch in a prison in the United States. If only Epstein was here to give an account of what actually went on. But instead, dead men have to tell tales, and we piece together from the millions of documents published about Epstein that Peter Mandelson seemed to be a rather close associate of the person I've just mentioned. So where does this lead the Labour Party, the Labour government, and Keir Starmer? Joining me now to discuss all of this is Nick Buckley MBE. Nick, thanks for taking time out of your busy campaigning schedule. You're obviously a candidate in the Gorton and Denton by-election. How's it going, by the way?
It's going well. It's got a bit dirty now, but it is going well.
Dirty, as in the rain is making it muddy.
as in accusations and backstabbing and orchestrated personal attacks.
Welcome to the grubby world of politics. I have to say, when I was leader of the Welsh Liberal Democrats, I said I didn't want to do that. And I vetoed that kind of behaviour. And then there were people in the Lib Dems at the time who didn't like what I said. They said, we have to play dirty. We want to play dirty. I've never really liked that. I'm not going to ask you what they have been saying because that simply perpetrates the offence. But keep at it. On the 28th of February, it'll presumably all be forgotten. Just out of interest, which parties are playing the dirtiest?
It's the one I'm the biggest threat to. So it's Reform UK. It's a small percentage of Reform voters and supporters. The vast majority of Reform voters and supporters are decent, patriotic people, but there's a small group of crazies, which you'll find in absolutely every party.
That's a bit disappointing, but maybe they can get them under control. More dirt coming out, though, from another angle. The Labour Party, the beleaguered Labour Party. It seems that the Prime Minister isn't exactly having the time of his life. There he is. It's interesting, this picture, because everyone's looking in a different direction. I think it might be a superimposed shot. I'm not sure. And who's he talking to? Really?
I think all those backbenchers, they're trying to find someone important.
Well, Starmer does seem to be a master at personal humiliation. Oh yeah, look at Maloney. I think Maloney's really good. I think she's her own woman, the premier of Italy. But this was a classic moment. I think that was in Egypt when Keir Starmer flew all the way to Egypt just to get a photo with Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump says, "Where is the United Kingdom? Where's the United Kingdom?" And then Starmer walks forward. He looks at the microphone. That's almost, I think, the shot when he's looking at the microphone. Yeah. Anybody who trains public speaking knows that glance at the microphone indicated he thought that he was going to be given the chance to speak because of the special relationship. Instead, he got a handshake, and there's Trump turning away, leaving the boy child Starmer standing in the middle of the stage, and then having to walk right to the back again. And I just remember thinking, "You're finished now." You've probably seen all the stories about Mandelson. What's your big picture take on this?
Mandelson was probably imposed upon Starmer for this reason. He's part of the establishment. So whoever's pulling the strings for Keir Starmer, and people are pulling his strings, he was picked a decade ago to be a potential prime minister. He's been wooed, he's been put into position, and he became prime minister. Those people want their other people involved. No, the Tony Blairs of the world, they want them involved. And Peter Mandelson is one of those people. That's why he picked him. And on a side note, I met Peter Mandelson once. When I worked at Manchester Airport, I had to go into the business lounge and say to him, "Mr. Mandelson, if you don't leave now, right this second, that London flight is leaving. We're waiting for you. If you don't come with me right now, I'm going to book you on the next flight, sir." And he started answering. I walked off and he grabbed his stuff and he ran to the plane.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you make of? I worked with him when he was Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. A dishonest man. He lied to me. He lied to the late David Trimble. In fact, double-crossed us. And I remember saying at the time, I'm not going to work with him. I refused to cooperate. And he lost his job anyway because of rather untoward in Northern Ireland. What did you make of him in your brief exchange?
It was a 3-second interaction. I couldn't make any judgment whatsoever. I just wanted him on that plane so I could shut the door and get that aircraft to take off on time. Because if it left late, I'd have been in huge trouble.
And he was in the lounge,
in the business lounge. He was on his phone having a meeting, and I just had to make it clear: you leave now, or I'm going to book you on the next flight, sir.
Well, I have to say, I was not impressed with him. They were trivial. One of the lies he told me was trivial, and I won't go into it. It was just not because it's confidential; it's just not very interesting. But I got the sense he's the man who just wanted to lie his way out. Now, he's caused massive trouble for this man who consistently makes bad judgments about his friends. There's Keir Starmer looking like he's about to kiss Emmanuel Macron, the fabulously unpopular president of France. I don't understand how he makes his decisions. He spends his time hanging around with some of the least popular people. There's another one, right? That's a disgusting, cringe-worthy picture. I'm not sure where the gallery got that one. Yeah, it's Zelensky, the war loser, and somehow Starmer spends all this time hanging around with losers. Maybe I'm being unfair, but I have to say that all of these photo opportunities seem to confirm what everyone's saying, that he's actually a terrible judge of character. Well, there we are. Those are the two in the spotlight. that he's a terrible judge of character. Now, most of us could have told Starmer, don't appoint Mandelson. Why do you think that it's because Mandelson was part of the establishment that he got the top ambassadorial job?
Oh yeah, I think Starmer got told we want him to be the ambassador. And then people are saying, but he was friends with Epstein, and Epstein was this huge child paedophile rapist, which he was. Well, the answer to that is simple. Why would Starmer care? Starmer doesn't care about British girls being gang raped on an industrial scale. Do you think he cares about American children being raped by Epstein? So I don't think it would have crossed his mind about, or he would have cared that Mandelson was friends with Epstein. He wouldn't have cared in the slightest.
That's quite the damning indictment. The counter argument could be, and we will ask Labour to put somebody up to defend Starmer's position.
Good luck with that.
Well, he might not be in post soon. I have to say that Starmer's, in my opinion, Starmer's premiership is now de facto finished. He's not a credible prime minister. But the alternative view might be, well, Keir Starmer was, well, this is what they are saying. If you're watching this live, you can see this on the mainstream media. Oh, he was lied to, that Mandelson lied to him. I just don't buy that, Nick. And even if it's true, Keir Starmer wants to be the prime minister, therefore the buck stops with him. And therefore, whatever the reasons, he has to take the rap.
Yeah, MI5, Secret Service, whatever these organisations are, would have put files on the Prime Minister's desk going, this is our information on this person, because as you rightly said in the introduction, this is one of the most important positions at this moment in time the Prime Minister can appoint. Our representative to the United States of America, that has to be someone top notch. And he would have had reports on him about the accusations, about secrets, about slurs, about things that might be true, but we don't know. All these would have been in the Secret Service and MI5 files. Starmer would have seen all that. He would have known every single rumour, every single one of them, and yet he still picked him.
Mandelson was a very poor choice, and I've already highlighted some of the other poor choices he's made. Mandelson also isn't commenting. I suppose, in reality, what's the point? Mandelson's finished now. He's consigned to the dustbin of ignominy in politics. But it's interesting. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Ms. Giuffre is dead. Peter Mandelson's career is dead. And these people are now wagging the dog of politics. And isn't it interesting that a man who died in the most mysterious of circumstances in a jail, Jeffrey Epstein, and all the cameras suddenly went off, could actually bring down the British government?
Absolutely. 10 years ago, if you'd have said that to me, I'd have said, come on, Lembit, you're stretching now. This sounds like a conspiracy theory. Things like this don't happen in the Western world. They really don't. Roll on 10 years and we look at the grooming gang scandal. We look at the post office master scandal. We sent people to jail and everybody knew it was a computer system failure, and we still sent people to jail. The grooming gangs, we've known for 30 years what was going on, and governments allowed it to continue for votes. If they can do that to innocent people and to children, do you think powerful governments and powerful individuals who are making millions and billions, do you think they would? Do you think for one moment they're not going to off somebody who's a problem for them and could bring them down? And I've got to the stage where, of course, in the Western world, there's political assassinations and fake deaths and fake suicides, because it's always happened from the Roman times all the way up to now. Powerful people want to keep power. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Of course, this is going on.
Stay with us, Nick Buckley. You're watching me, Lembit Öpik, here on Unprecedented TV. Please do like and subscribe. As we look at the faltering, and some would say failing, premiership of the current, but in my view, outgoing Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who would take over. We'll talk about that with Nick Buckley MBE as well in a minute. Don't forget to look at the other programs. Like and subscribe, please, to Unprecedented TV at YouTube. One of the great shows we have is Tim Scott Uncancelled. Tim Scott Uncancelled, and you can find all of his previous shows on the archive as well. He's got some pretty strong views regarding what's happening with the, in my view, outgoing Prime Minister. That's what we'll call him from now on, Keir Starmer. I suppose by definition, every Prime Minister is outgoing because they have to finish eventually. But it does seem to me that his premiership is effectively over. He's not really making any impact on the world stage. I called Donald Trump about Greenland, and I said, Donald, no. And now he's going to take credit for the fact that Trump didn't invade millions of square kilometers of ice, but he just seems impotent, flaccid in his leadership.
He's been a dead man walking for at least a year, definitely since the first budget. He's been a dead man walking. We've all known it to be true. Let me give you a prediction. We all want Starmer gone, of course we do. But let me warn everybody and make a prediction here. The person who replaces him will be worse. Don't mean a little bit worse. They will be a lot worse. And we will start, a year from now, we will say things like, do you know what? Starmer wasn't that bad. But seriously, because it was only 6 months after Labour took to power that people started saying to me, do you know what? The Tories weren't that bad. Sunak wasn't that bad. And I'm like, are you mental? Of course they were. It's just that the new one's worse, and the person who'll replace Starmer will be worse. It's going to be Angela Rayner. That's where my money is, Angela Rayner. It may be West Streeting, it may be some others, but she's my odds-on favourite. It's going to be worse. It really is.
I hope it is Angela Rayner. It would be really funny.
It may be funny, and it'd be great for content. It'll be great for news channels, but it's going to be horrendous for the country.
Well, I want it to be Angela Rayner because then it'll be so bad that there'll be no risk of Labour winning again. I hope.
Yeah.
But then that leads me to succession planning questions. Who, if anyone, in the Labour Party could take over? Who could be any good? Andy Burnham. I know you know him well. I know him well. I thought he would be. I don't share his political ideology, but I think he would have been more competent. But they're really trying to stop him from doing it. So we've got this woman here who had to resign because she contradicted her own policies. She broke her own housing policies. Why do you think Angela Rayner could win? I'm just laughing. The idea of Prime Minister Angela Rayner. It's such a ridiculous idea.
She's got a great chance of winning, first of all, because of identity politics. She's a woman. Labour have never had a female prime minister, and the Tories have had 3. So she'll tick a box for that. She's northern. That ticks a huge box. She's working class. I mean, I'm talking about really working class. You can tell by her accent. All these tick boxes. The unions love her. They call her the Red Queen. She's their number one. Because don't forget, I'm not saying she's odds-on favourite. If we put it to the public vote, I'm saying how the Labour Party works. We put it to their vote. I think she's odds-on favourite. And just talking about Andy Burnham there, he just popped on the screen. Andy Burnham would be more competent, a better speaker, better PR. But it was only last year Andy Burnham said to save the economy in the UK, to grow the economy, he would borrow an extra £40 billion and spend it in the public sector, because that's how you're going to kickstart the economy. That's what he wants to do.
Is it that bad? Is it bad?
Spending 40 billion in the public sector, thinking that's going to kickstart the economy.
It's a time. No. I accept that if you spend money in the public sector, you're not kickstarting the economy at all, really. But if that's the worst thing he's doing, it's not as bad as spending billions in Ukraine, in my view. It's not as bad as appointing Mandelson for British ambassador to America, which the dog in the street could have seen was a bad idea. It's not as bad as you just mentioned it, identity politics, where you put David Lammy in as deputy prime minister.
Oh, please no, please.
He's another contender. He could be prime minister.
Oh, I think I could handle Angela Rayner. I think I could handle her because I think her heart's in the right place. I disagree with her on everything, but I think she comes from a genuine place. I just don't think she could do the job. I don't think she's good enough. I don't believe in her or her policies, but I don't believe she hates the country. I really have doubts about David Lammy.
Well, why? I mean, look at him. There he is. There's the Man Mountain, the giant.
Yep.
Who even ended up in an altercation with a taxi driver. And
I mean, come on. Punched a taxi driver for not paying a fare or something.
I don't think he actually punched the taxi driver. I think he threatened the taxi driver,
right.
To be fair. But I think he's a contender. It's got to be. I think everybody realizes that Keir Starmer's finished now. Maybe not. Maybe some people still think he's going to win, but win out. But I can't see it. If they lose the by-election that you yourself are standing in, I think that Starmer's probably going to have to just resign. I mean, he's crap. He's just a terrible prime minister in my view. But when you look at I didn't think I'd be this entertained by our show today. But when you look at the alternatives, Andy Burnham, who is, as you say, a good speaker and intelligent, is a likable man, one-to-one. He's out of the game. So you got Angela Rayner and Wes Streeting. Let's not forget Wes Streeting and David Lammy. I mean, the three amigos. Those people could be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. They could be in charge of a nuclear arsenal. It doesn't really fill you with confidence, does it?
Things are going to get worse before they start getting better.
I thought the song was opposite.
Yeah. They don't play that song anymore, do the Labour Party? They've not played that in decades.
There's somebody else who's apparently a bit of a doyen of the Labour Party. It's Ed Miliband. He could make a remarkable return. Literally, I could be the Prime Minister at last. He wouldn't have to win a general election this time, which I don't think he could win.
Yeah.
I mean, his nutty policies on the environment.
Yeah.
It's turned into, we use polite language here on the station, but it's turned into a festival of failure. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But it's just this massive cosmic political implosion now called the Labour Party. But I don't know anybody who admits to voting Labour now. I don't know anyone who says that they would vote Labour now. Do you?
No, but we need to remember people didn't vote Labour. People were voting against the Tories. So, nobody wanted a Labour government per se. They just wanted rid of 14 years of incompetence and failure. And now we have more incompetence and failure. So at the next general election, most people will not be voting for a different party. They'll be voting against Labour, because that's how our politics has gone over the last few decades. But I've been saying to people, vote for what you want to see. Stop voting against things. Don't vote in fear. Vote for the dream of tomorrow that you want. Vote for that. And that's the only way you've got a chance of getting a better tomorrow. Stop voting against things and vote for something.
They could vote for the Lib Dems. They have a political giant, a true international statesman as the leader. There he is, Ed Davey.
I would rather have Ed Davey than Starmer. That's how bad Starmer is now. I'd rather have the clown Ed Davey.
Look at him. He thought that was a good look. I've been accused of clowning around. Look at him. I mean, oh well, okay. That people say that he's a great leader.
Ed Davey's just trying to copy Boris Johnson. He's trying to be an affable fool to get people to like him, to be a personality. But only 1 in 10,000 politicians can pull off a Boris Johnson strategy. You can't pretend to be a Boris Johnson. You can't make yourself into a Boris Johnson. You have to be born to be a Boris Johnson with that type of affable character and personality. But again, Boris Johnson was absolutely crap as a prime minister.
So we've got various options there. Let's finish where we started. Peter Mandelson, there he is, strangely with a lady who seems to be in a bathrobe. Peter Mandelson's own defense was because he's a homosexual, Jeffrey Epstein excluded him from activities and kept him away from it. Goodness only knows what's going on in this picture.
He's underpants on, for God's sake.
Oh, I hadn't noticed that till now. I literally hadn't noticed that. I literally hadn't. Thank you for pointing that out. It's just ridiculous. I hadn't noticed that. Thank you for pointing it out. I lean forward to get a closer look of what's going on there. Lessons will be learned is what they always say at moments like this. So he's there in his underpants with a woman in a bathrobe after him saying, because I'm a homosexual, Jeffrey Epstein excluded him from all those shenanigans. So this is the man that Keir Starmer thought would be good for the special relationship with the United States and with the President of the United States. That's not a relationship that's particularly good, really. I think that it's gone, to be honest with you. I mean, you see the two of them together, but Trump never really seems to be taking Starmer seriously. Has Starmer achieved anything positive?
No, absolutely zero.
It's quite a damning indictment to say that.
Yeah, and I can say the same thing against the 14 years of Tories. I can't think of one decent thing the Tories did in 14 years.
THX GODITS OVER. You say it for yourself, says from Proverbs. There is a generation that are pure in their own eyes, and yet it is not washed from their filthiness. Anglo-Saxons, aka so-called whites, are not in the Bible at all. That's an interesting comment. It's quite cryptic. If you want to explain it, then please do. There's more acts coming in there. Collingwood says still no pants. A couple of other comments here. Paul MC 6940, can't vote your way out of tyranny. That's a very good point, actually. Richard says, good morning, Colin. Okay, I should have checked that before I read it. And huge, Colin, you're very active today. Lembit for PM, says Colin. So there's one which I sort of agree with. It's not really a job I'd want. Marilyn Halls, good morning, Marilyn. He should, but he won't. He's a control freak and desperate to stay in power whilst he wrecks the UK. And yes, great shirt. Marilyn likes my shirt. There we go. You didn't comment on it. Thanks very much indeed. You always look much smarter than me. You show me up when you're on, Nick. I do keep calls, comments coming, by the way. Just to finish on this then. So Keir Starmer seems to be in a bit of a mess. Predictably, Mandelson's finished. I didn't expect it to be quite bad because there's an awful lot of criticism of Starmer, but really Mandelson was completely inappropriate. It's been described as a humiliating defeat for Starmer. How long do you think he'll be in post, Starmer? Days, weeks, or months? Nobody's suggesting years anymore. No,
I mean he'll be gone. It could be gone by the time he finishes broadcast. But it could be a couple of weeks. It could be waiting until the May election. That's what we've all been waiting for anyway. The disaster of the May election, he could go then. But I think all those MPs, all those front benchers, all know they've got one chance now to become MP. So I think they'll all be out for him this next couple of weeks. And they're all trying to be the next leader of the Labour Party, which means they're going to be Prime Minister. We don't know what that final straw is going to be to break the camel's back. I'm not too sure it's going to be this, Mandelson. The general public don't know what's going on with this. This is beyond them. So this might not be it, but something very soon is going to break the camel's back. and he's gone.
It could be the by-election that you're standing in. If they lose,
Yep.
then that could be it. I think no one's really taking Starmer seriously anymore.
No.
So that's an interesting aspect to it. Are you enjoying a by-election?
It's hard work. It's tiring. All the other elections I've run in, I probably was never a contender, so therefore I never got any abuse. But obviously this time, people must be looking at me as a contender because the abuse is non-stop. Lucky for me, it's like water off a duck's back. Who cares? It's all. I mean, if it was physical abuse, that'd be something different. But this is just abuse online. I'm getting quite a lot of positive feedback. Got lots of volunteers. I think it's going well. We've got 3 weeks. 3 weeks today, the election.
Well, good luck with that. Thanks for taking time out from your campaign. That's Nick Buckley MBE, who is a candidate in the Gorton and Denton by-election. We're going to try and get some of the other candidates, including Matt Goodwin from Reform UK, to come on the show. We'll certainly give all the candidates the opportunity. We'll ask all of them to come on. In the meantime, let me finish by saying this. It seems to me from 40 years of professional political experience that Keir Starmer's leadership is essentially finished now. He's in post, but he's not in power. At the same time, as Nick Buckley says, there are contenders. David Lammy, Wes Streeting, Angela Rayner, one of those three are likely to be the next Prime Minister, unless somehow Andy Burnham can wheedle his way back into Parliament fast enough to stand. But one thing we can be pretty sure of is that Keir Starmer is now embroiled in a scandal comparable to that of John Profumo from about 60 years ago, which pretty close to brought down the government too. It's all because Mandelson lied and Starmer was too thick to realise. He appointed Mandelson to the top ambassadorial job in the world, and Mandelson flunked it. There's more to come on that. There's more to come from the Epstein files. But isn't it interesting how dead men can tell tales? Please do like and subscribe. Go to Unprecedented TV. It really means a lot to us. Just click and subscribe. It won't cost you anything. And that would be fantastic for us. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to Nick Buckley MBE for being our guest. But more than anything, thanks to you for trusting us with our views so that you can form your own. I'm Lembit Öpik. This is Lembit Öpik Live on Unprecedented TV. Have a good day.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages.